Hey everyone, it's great to see you again. And if you are new to the channel, my name is Bill Benoist, and I'm all about embracing retirement using my Fuji X-T5. In today's video, what I want to talk about is this new lens that I bought this week. In fact, I bought two lenses this week, and I'll talk about that second lens in a moment. But this lens here is the Lensbaby Velvet 56. It's not my first Lensbaby. Couple of years ago, I purchased this Composer Pro Sweet 50 optic, and I've always enjoyed this lens. But I got to tell you something, these lenses are not your typical lenses. But then again, I'm not really a typical photographer. I mainly shoot very creative. I use intentional camera movement, and I shoot with multiple exposures. And that's one of the things that I like about the Fuji system, not only about the film simulation, which is what they're known for. It has the built-in multiple exposure option there. I can combine multiple exposures with the in-camera and not doing anything in, say, Adobe Photoshop. When I bought the Sweet Optic 50, and I started really getting into these Lensbabies and understanding them, I soon learned that it seemed that the talk of the town was always the Lensbaby Velvet 56. And I've always wanted to check this out. And I finally did. I finally went ahead and purchased this. In fact, I also purchased another lens. Let me just back up a little bit. When I made my decision to purchase this, I was also following the Lensbaby website and sat in on a webinar regarding a new lens that was going to be released called the Twist 28. And I really was excited about that. And we had an option of putting our email address down to get an early release of that lens. I did buy that lens as well. This one came in, and then about 2 days later, the Twist 28 came in. And I'm going to be talking about the Twist 28 next week. But I wanted to talk about this one first. So again, like I say, these are completely manual lenses, manual focus all the way around. It comes in three flavors, the 28 millimeter, the 56, and the 85. I normally shoot at wider angles. So I use a prime lens on this one, 23 millimeter. And I also have the 16 to 80 lens for the Fuji. And most of the time I'm finding myself at the 16, right around 16, 20 millimeter area. I like to shoot more wide angle. So this was a little bit difficult for me to really get used to. I was finding myself standing way too close to a subject, unless it was flowers. You wanted to get in close. In fact, let me just mention too, with this lens here, it's a great macro lens. You can get up to 5 inches away. And I think it's 9 inches or 10 inches or something with the 85. Not certain about the 28 millimeter. But anyway, this is a great lens for macro photography, but for just regular subject photography, and they say that these can be very good portraiture lenses. What I was finding is that I was standing too close to a subject and I really needed to take a few steps back. And so it was a learning curve. I mentioned the portrait photography. These are really good for portraits. What these lenses do is they give you a really nice, sharp center focus, but then as the image kind of goes out, it becomes a really nice, dreamy, soft blur, almost a ethereal look with it. And it's just, it really is a gorgeous look. And that's what Lensbabies are known for. They usually give you this very sharp center and then a different kind of look. And you're going to see on the Twist 28, when I do that video, it actually has a nice surrounding twisting kind of blur. You saw the center in focus. So one of the things that I have found with this lens, and it also seems to be what other people have found, is that although this has a 1.6 aperture, it's very difficult to get that center as sharp as you can. What I found is that the sweet spot on this lens has been probably the widest opening is 2.8. 4 is really a lot better. And then what I would say my choice is 5.6. And that's what I found I was doing most of my shooting with. At the 5.6, you still get that really nice bokeh dreamy effect. You'll see again in a few moments the photos that I took. One of the things is what people have said is that if you really want to shoot at the f1.6, then what you do is go ahead and let's say start at the 5.6. And once you get it in focus, and you're probably going to need a tripod. I would definitely recommend a tripod with this. Then go ahead and bring it down to the f1.4. That would be probably the best bet. What people have said to do, and that's also what I did. So I took this lens out to the San Jose Municipal Rose Garden, and mainly what I was doing was I was just shooting roses. I also took it out around my area and shot some wildflowers with it. You'll see. I used the tripod when I was shooting at 1.6. Then again, what I found was my sweet spot was either 5.6 and what it was really the sweet spot, but going down to a 4, sometimes to 2.8. But I think 5.6 was where I was the most happiest. Camera-wise, completely set this with manual. I was controlling not only the aperture, of course, on the lens, but also the shutter speed. It was mainly around 1000. A couple of times I went down to 500, and also I was shooting at either ISO 125 or ISO 200. I don't think I ever went any higher than that. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because one of the things that I did discover was that when you are shooting in manual mode like I was, the metadata in Lightroom was not showing. It was showing, but it was not accurate. It was like, I noticed that a lot of the metadata was completely inaccurate with as far as the aperture and the speed and everything else. And so usually when I shoot photos and I'm showing them on this channel, I can go ahead and look at the Lightroom, look at the metadata with that. And by the way, as I'm talking about Lightroom, these photos that I'm going to show you, outside of maybe a little cropping, there was nothing that I did in post. These photos are all out of the camera. Let me show you what I did, and at the end of the video, let me know what you think about this. And by the way, next week, I'm going to be talking about the Twist 28. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. So there you go. I hope you found this video informational, helpful. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification as I do upload new videos every Tuesday, and I'd hate for you to miss one. Thanks again for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.